Did you see that post?
People are talking.
Here's what's trending on the Rickey Smiley Morning Show.
All right, y'all, Rickey Smiley Morning Show. Ladies and gentlemen, yesterday was a really, really dark day in America, a day where the President of the United States incited rioters and tried to stop democracy. And back this morning, we have CNN political analyst Bakari Sellers this morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, man, a lot going on. Like during yesterday's election certification, protesters broke into the Capitol of the United States of America, and Capitol Police were seen taking pictures and letting protesters through barricades and even letting them get to the floor of the Senate. And one person was shot and killed. And on the other hand, we seen Black Lives Matter protesters peacefully protesting and still being beaten. Smoke bombed and arrested. How? What happened yesterday?
Well, what happened yesterday is pretty easy to describe. I mean, you saw white supremacist domestic terrorism, and you have to be accurate and call it exactly what it is. It's domestic terrorism. These weren't protesters. These actually weren't even rioters. These were terrorists. And we can go down the path of if they were black. But that's the easy answer. Like if they were black, if me and Rickey even thought about storming the Capitol, we would probably be arrested and shot on the spot. So let's not even act as if this wasn't a display of white supremacy and white privilege. But what's even more devastating, I think, is that the President of the United States was inciting and urging. And Rickey, this is crazy. Now you have a president who was banned from Twitter and banned from Facebook, but still has the nuclear codes. So that's just where we are. That's just where we are in this country right now.
Well, thankfully, lawmakers did get back to work, and the votes counted yesterday. And the election was certified. But what were you hearing from your friends in Congress while all this was playing out? Like, what were your conversations like?
Well, first, the crazy thing is I had to check on my girl Kamala first. So, because she was going to be over there in the United States Senate, and I was just concerned, like we all were, because they did not know. Individuals who were voting on the House floor and Senate floor did not know what was going on outside. But once we found out that she was safe and secure, you turn your attention to everyone else. And I think that, they have some, PTSD from what happened yesterday, because they actually had to go into bunkers for 4 hours. They had to be escorted by the FBI and National Guard. So hopefully they understand how real this is. And I don't mean to sound out of character, but this isn't time for a turn the page or we need somebody to heal the country. No, we need somebody to arrest all of those individuals and prosecute them. Right. And then we need to understand what justice really looks like in this country.
Exactly. Yeah. Could Donald Trump be, number one, prosecuted for inciting a riot? And do you think they will go ahead and, remove him from office because he is dangerous right now?
He is extremely dangerous. There really isn't any pathway to remove him from office. So can he be prosecuted? To answer your first question, no, he can't be prosecuted for another 14, 15 days. But, you can prosecute his son for saying that this is a battle and we're going to go and storm and we're going to do all of this other stuff. And you can prosecute Rudy Giuliani, who said that we need to go and save this. We need to go and have trial by combat. That's what he said at the rally yesterday. Rudy Giuliani said we need to have. So, yeah, you can prosecute them. Will they be prosecuted? I wouldn't hold my breath. The unique thing, though, is that you can impeach Donald Trump again. And why does that matter? And everybody's like, we already impeached him once and he ain't going to get ejected. That's true. But this is a really random piece of law. But if you get impeached twice, you can never run for president again. And we all know that Donald Trump wants to run.
Can they do it in 14 days, Bakari?
Oh, yeah. You try Nancy Pelosi if you want to. Nancy Pelosi can get stuff done quicker than you can imagine. So,
Bakari, when is unsolved? And I know I'm just random because there's a lot of questions. I know you had this information. Yeah. When does Reverend Warnock and Ossoff take those sentences? When would they be sworn in?
They will be sworn in when their votes are certified. So they won, but those ballots haven't been certified yet. And the great part about it is they're both outside of the recount. So you won't have to have a full recount. So they just have to be certified. And Georgia law will probably have them seated in the next week or so.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, because I was just wondering, like, okay, if they impeach Trump, with those
will they challenge it?
Yeah, with those 2 Senate seats and all, it's just because everything is just really just coming to a head. Go ahead, Eva, you had a question.
No, that was actually my question. With, the excitement, despite the melee yesterday, the excitement with Raphael Warnock and John Ossoff flipping the state, is there a chance of that being challenged? Because there is a certification process. And so obviously unprecedented things have happened during this administration thus far. And, one can expect that something like this could happen.
Yeah, no. Are there any challenges to the Warnock-Ossoff election? There
Yes.
will be, but they won't fly. I mean,
Got you.
I'll be completely honest. I thought this race was going to be closer than it was. Warnock, won by a lot. Warnock won by over a point, closer to 2 points. And Ossoff is winning by a point now. So, and everybody's like, that doesn't sound like a lot. Well, you got to remember, Joe Biden only won by 12,000 votes. These guys are winning by 60,000 votes. So, that is beyond the scope of trying to bring it to challenge these races. When we look at yesterday, though, I just want to go back to that for one quick second. I want to make sure that everybody is extremely clear that people stormed the United States Capitol and they waved not the American flag, but they waved Confederate flags and flags of Donald Trump. This hasn't happened in 200 years. Abraham Lincoln didn't even allow the Confederate flag to make it to the United States Capitol. The Confederate flag people weren't able to storm the Capitol and get in until Donald Trump was president and waved the Confederate flag. So let's just remember that 74 million people voted for that. And we need to challenge all of them on whether or not they still stand by that type of white supremacy and domestic terrorism.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that, because if I'm not mistaken, and correct me, there's no bill for domestic terrorism. Do you think?
Well, you're not wrong. And so one of the things that we have to do is one of the things that we have not done in this country is address white supremacy in an appropriate fashion and treat them as domestic terrorists. If these were 5 Muslim brothers who decided they were going to storm the Capitol, or 5 black brothers who decided they were going to storm the Capitol, or anybody other than some white boys who went to do it yesterday, trust me, they would have been tear gassed, they would have been arrested. These guys, a dude went into Nancy Pelosi's office, put his feet on the desk, went outside, and he did a news interview with his hometown news last night. He didn't even have to get bail money.
Right. Now, what kind of charges do you think those people are facing that broke in the Capitol? What kind of jail time?
They arrested 52 people. So
it should have been way more than that.
Yes.
And they should have put every last one of them people in those wheelchairs. The lady with no arms and no legs.
Rickey,
talking about I stand for Trump. And they should have stood her up and took her to jail too. How did they get up those Capitol stairs? I'm sorry, Bakari. Go ahead.
Bakari, don't listen. What happens to these people that were arrested and that vandalized? Do they get charged?
Yeah, they should be charged. They looted. They trespassed. They rioted. They need to be charged.
Is that federal?
Need to be charged with terror. It's federal. Oh yeah, it's federal because this happened on federal property.
Right.
And so just remember this. Let me just throw this other piece of politics out at you real quick. The reason that the Washington D.C. was not able to deploy the National Guard as you can do in other states is because D.C. is not a state, so the mayor could not do that. The president of the United States is in charge of the D.C. National Guard, and he didn't want to call the National Guard in. So we got to remember that D.C. statehood is really important, even if it's for things like them having the ability to call their own National Guard when they need it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's why they need to make Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. a state.
And Guam and all the rest of the territories?
Yeah, I know those two for sure.
Yeah, well, let's start with Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. for sure.
Yeah. Man, listen, man. Thank you, Bakari. Thank you so much for coming on at the last minute, breaking everything down. Let everybody know how people can follow you.
Yeah, follow me at Bakari_Sellers on Twitter. I usually have some hot takes. Some of them are hotter than others. And then follow me on Instagram at Bakari Sellers. And make sure that you wish Sadie and Stokely, who are my twins, a happy second birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Hey, happy birthday!
Man, hey, congratulations, man. Hug those babies from all of us to y'all, man. Thank you so much, Bakari.
Thank you, Ricky. Y'all have a blessed day.